A warm welcome to film number 3 in our Double Skin Facades series. In it, we will take a closer look at the materials used in double skin masonry walls. While the load-bearing skin of a double skin facade can be made of masonry or reinforced concrete, as here in our Provost Church in Leipzig, in double skin brickwork, the load-bearing layer is always a brickwork wall. The facing skin may be of natural stone or prefabricated masonry units. These masonry units are classified according to the raw material from which they are made. Many bricks are made of clay-bearing loam. As the name suggests, sand-lime bricks are made of sand and limestone. Concrete blocks are made of concrete, that is to say, cement and additives. The space between the facing skin and the load-bearing skin can be filled in a variety of different ways: with mortar, with a cavity, with insulation, or with a cavity and insulation. Mortar fillers were used as long ago as ancient Rome, while 19th century architects had great hopes for the insulating properties of cavities. Today, the space between the skins is generally filled with a thermal insulating material. When we were students, the use of a cavity and insulation was still the preferred technique. It prevents the transmission of moisture from the facing skin into the insulation and dries out any moisture that makes its way into the gap between the two skins. To achieve this effect, the cavity must be at least 4 cm thick and be ventilated by small openings in the facing skin. The joints in this type of wall are typically unmortared open butt joints. Today, this cavity is no longer required thanks to the advent of water-repellent insulation, which means that the gap between the facing and load-bearing skins can be reduced. This type of construction is referred to as double skin brick or block work with core insulation. The cavity is replaced by a small gap of approximately 1.5 cm, which allows the bricks or blocks to be laid by hand and compensates for tolerances. A number of different materials can be used for thermal insulation. Some of the most common are rock wool, expanded EPS or extruded XPS polystyrene foam, polyurethane PUR foam, and foam glass. The choice of material depends primarily on where it's to be used, the compressive strength required, moisture levels, and environmental considerations. Architects often also use extruded polystyrene foam and heat cutters to make working models. Here you can see the width of the various layers. The facing skin must be at least 9 cm thick and generally does not exceed 11.5 cm. The thickness of the insulating material used will vary between 10 and 25 cm depending on the thermal insulation requirements. The load-bearing masonry shell will generally be between 17.5 cm and a maximum of 36.5 cm thick depending on the structural load on the wall. The total thickness of double skin brickwork is therefore generally between 40 and 70 cm. Summary: in a double skin facade, the load-bearing skin can be made of masonry or reinforced concrete. The facing skin may be of natural stone or prefabricated masonry units of loam, concrete, or a sand-lime mix. The space between the facing skin and the load-bearing skin can be filled in 4 different ways: with mortar, with a cavity, with insulation, or with a cavity and insulation. The thickness of the various layers depends on the specific requirements of the facade in question. Our Double Skin Facades series continues with film number 4, in which we take a look at the fixings used to attach facing skins and insulation.